Well, hello, hello. Welcome to the second training of our Post Planner Bootcamp training series. I'm Rebecca Radice, and I am here with our illustrious leader, Josh Parkinson, the CEO of Post Planner. And just to give you a little bit of background on last week's, I know, Josh, you're going to dive into that, but for anybody that's joining us today, if you missed last week's training, no worries. We have the replay and that amazing Excel spreadsheet that everybody was dying to get their hands on last week. That is all on the blog, and we will drop that link right into the chat for you, so you can take a look at there. Oh, awesome, awesome. Okay, so you've got that now, and if you want to take a look at that afterwards, there's the good news here is that Josh is giving you just an enormous amount of ideas as to where to get started with the Post Planner, but it's not necessarily sequential, Josh, I would say, so that it's not urgent. If they missed last week's, they can definitely go back. And you definitely want to go back, and start there. But today is just as good a place to get started if you're joining us for the first time. I loved the feedback that we received from last week. We were just scrolling through our group and our page, and Yolanda Pope had said, "Thanks, last week was awesome, and my page stats and those that I manage are really improving their reach." So exciting to see that people are already seeing results from that first training last week. And this week, we're going to talk about, the focus is how to find awesome content to share on social media. And I'm going to let you take it away. Like I said, I won't give too many details around what we talked about last week because I know you're going to set us up. But how to find awesome content, probably one of the #1 challenges we hear from people on a daily basis. So I know there's a lot we're going to learn today, and I'm going to let you take it away.
All right. Thanks, Rebecca. Yeah, so how to find awesome content. So, let's return to last week and just review, because it's important to have that kind of basis for, why we're finding content and the kind of philosophy behind what good content is. Last week we talked about being data driven, right? We talked about not guessing, not just going out and creating content and guessing and instead choosing content that's kind of already proven itself. So, I actually told a true story last week. It was the story of a pretty awesome Facebook post, some content that started on my personal profile. I'm going to actually share my screen here so you guys can check this out. Just to review. So remember, can you see that, Rebecca?
I sure can. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So if you go to that blog post that we shared in the sidebar there in the chat, you can see some screenshots of this. But just to review, we talked about this content that I'd found while reading an article in the morning one morning. I grabbed that content, I formatted it, in a way that made it easier to read, kind of a little snippet, a nice little quote, and I threw it up on my personal profile, just because I thought it was cool. It outperformed all the other statuses from the same time period on my personal profile, so I went to our social media team here at Post Planner, and we created an image version of it, which is right here. This thing did pretty well. It got about 62,000 in reach, lots of engagement as well. If you see down here, about 460 shares, not too shabby. At the same time, we did another version of it and put it onto Instagram, which is right here. This did pretty well as well, relative to our performance, our typical performance on Instagram. You can see it got about 180 likes and a fair number of comments. With that in mind, we saw that it was performing well here on Instagram, and again, being data driven, we took the exact same image here and tried it on Facebook a month later, and this is what the results we got here. About 411,000 people reached, a lot more likes and shares. What was it, 200 and about 2,200 shares, 2,000 likes, somewhere in there, a lot of comments, which resulted in a lot of reach. And then the kind of cherry on the sundae was 9gag, which is a page of about, I think, 28 million fans, pulled the same exact content. They were data driven. They saw that it was outperforming on our page, and so they grabbed it and put their own little graphic with it, and theirs has about 178,000 shares, which we did a rough computation, meant that it reached about 30 million people. So not too bad. The whole idea here being that, you know, none of this was really guesswork. It started out as just this text status on my personal profile. I noticed that it was outperforming. It was getting a lot more engagement from my small number of friends. I have about 800 friends on Facebook, and I just noticed that it was outperforming any of the other text updates that I had posted, and so we went from there to there to there to there, and then finally 9gag picked it up, and all along the way it outperformed. So, you know, the whole point here is that you know, I like the Isaac Newton quote. You know, he said somewhere along the way that, you know, if I have seen further, it's by standing on the shoulders of giants, right? In other words, he discovered truth, you know, a new truth by building on previous discoveries, and that's kind of what you want to do with social media as well. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to come up with content on the fly that's completely unique and totally untested. You know, if you do that and you have successes, well done. You know, you're a natural. But for the rest of us who are merely human, you know, it's nice to have tests out there to stand on the shoulders of giants by using content that's already, you know, proven itself. If you do that, your chances are just much higher that you're also, you know, that the content's going to outperform for you as well. So, you know, that was a true story. That was an actual thing that happened, and, you know, here's the proof. You're looking at it right now. Today we're not going to talk so much about an actual thing that happened. We're going to do more of a hypothetical thing. So, you know, we're gonna actually go out and we're going to try to find some giants whose shoulders we can stand on. Right? We're going to go out and try to find some content that's been proven. And we're going to, you know, I'm going to show you how you can organize it. First of all, how you can find it, and then how you can organize it in such a way that you can easily come back to it and get continuous content, basically, for, you know, the rest of your life. So that's what we're going to do. Now, I want you guys to imagine that I'm going to put my screen back here. I want you guys to imagine that we are running a business that's in the health, wellness, and nutrition space. Okay, so we're social media managers for the business. Maybe this business has hired us to run their Facebook page, but this particular page and this particular business is in the health, wellness, and nutrition space. Okay. The business makes money by selling health and nutritional coaching. All right, so customers come in and they purchase coaching sessions, and the coaches help them eat better and just get healthier. Okay, let's imagine that we're running this business, and that's all we're going to talk about today. Okay, is this space, this niche, this industry, this page, this business, and we need to find awesome content. Now, why do we need to go out and find third-party content that's not our own? Well, let me dive into that a little bit about why that's necessary, and I'm sure many of you kind of get that, but it's always good to review it. One of my favorite infographics that we've produced here at Post Planner is this one here. I'm going to throw that into the comments. You can find it at postplanner.com/fishing. I'm going to share my screen again. I'm going to head on over there so you guys can see it right here. There we go. So you can open that up, or you can just look at the screen here. You know, the point of this is to talk about why it is that we need third-party content, right? Now let's go back to our business. We make money in our business by people coming to our website and they can sign up for coaching sessions. Okay, so they come to our website, they can sign up for a session, they can get a coaching session where the business helps them eat better and get more healthy. Okay, so we basically need people to come to our website because that's where we acquire most of our customers. All right, that's where we get most of our businesses from our website, and that's why we're using social media to, as distribution for our website. We use social media to, to form a little pathway back to our website so that our followers, our fans on social media can somehow and consistently make their way back to our website so we can turn them into customers. All right? That's why we're on social media. We're not on there just, just to have fun. We're on there to actually make money, and this is important to remember. So, what this particular business has been doing, like a lot of businesses, is we've been producing content. All right. Remember, this is a hypothetical. This is the business that we're going to be finding content for. Well, this business, this health, wellness, and nutrition business, let's just call it HWN. All right. Health, wellness, nutrition. HWN. That's the name of the business. HWN Inc. All right. Well, this business publishes about 5 to 10 blog posts per month on our own blog. Okay, so we create these posts on our blog and we put them out, and we've been doing this for about 6 months. So we have about 40 blog posts on our blog, on our health, wellness, and nutrition blog, and about 30 of those are evergreen. Which means that those blog posts never go stale. They're advice about how to balance your fats with your proteins, with your carbohydrates. There are things about some healthy recipes to cook at home, some nice workout routines, etc. We have these things, and they basically never go out of style, right? If someone reads them 4 years from now, they're going to be just as valuable. These are our evergreen posts. We have about 30 of these, okay? So if we share one of those per day on social media, on Twitter and Facebook and Pinterest and these other sites, then we basically can put that on autopilot and set it to repeat. All right. So let's pretend we're doing that. We have these 30 blog posts. One of them is going out every day to all the social media sites we own, and we need some other content to put around that content. The content going back to our website. But why? Why do we need that other content? Well, that's what this infographic is all about. All right. And it's all about the fishing, and you'll understand this metaphor as I get more into it. But in this little metaphor here, the fish are your fans. All right, the fish are your followers out there on social media, and you are the fisherman. And you can read these details yourself here on the blog post. But it's important to know that the fish are your fans, and you're the fisherman. And what you're trying to do is get them in your boat, and your boat is your website. All right, so you go out there on the high seas of social media. And what you need to do is you need to chum the waters, right? If you're out there in the middle of the seas or in the middle of this lake of social media, no fish are going to come near you unless you chum the waters. And we do that on social media by posting super engaging content. So half the time we're going to go out there and we're going to post super engaging content, and we're going to get our fans biting, right? We're going to get the fish biting, which means they're clicking. They're clicking on our text updates, and these are the kind of stuff that the stuff that we're posting to get engagement, to chum the waters, are not our own blog posts. Okay, this is third-party content. This is visual content. This is content that we're putting out there purely to add value, to entertain people, with the purpose of getting them clicking on those posts. So we're putting out really awesome third-party links. We're putting out photos. We're putting out questions all around, most of it at least, about health, wellness, and nutrition. Because that's why fans and followers have liked our page or follow us on Twitter, etc. Because they're interested in this topic and they want to know, get information on it. So that's why we're putting out this chum. We're chumming the waters. We're getting them to click. And why is that important? Well, remember that on Facebook and pretty much everywhere on social media, the more engagement you get from your followers and fans on certain posts and certain content, it kind of increases the chance that you're going to get engagement on your other posts. And it certainly does that on Facebook because of the algorithm, EdgeRank, the Facebook news feed algorithm, right? If you are a page and you put out a lot of engaging content and your fans and followers click on that content a lot, what they're doing is they're signaling to Facebook, they're sending a signal to Facebook that they like the content from your particular page and they want to see more of it. Remember, Facebook is always trying to gain this information because they want to provide the best user experience for every person who uses Facebook. The best user experience for people who use Facebook is that when people go to Facebook, they see content that they're interested in, right? They see content that they want to see that's going to engage them for the short period of time at the bus stop or sitting on the couch, or when they wake up in the morning and they grab their phone, they look at Facebook. Facebook wants to make sure that when they look onto the news feed that they're looking at stuff that Facebook has already kind of gamed the system, right? Facebook is showing people the things that people most want to see, right? And Facebook measures that by people's past behavior. So if you're clicking a lot on posts from a nutrition page, you're just telling Facebook, hey, Facebook, I really like this content. Please show me more of it. Whereas if another page that you may have liked along the way, maybe a band, for example, and every time you see a post from them, you just kind of scroll right past it and never click on it, then again, you're sending a signal to Facebook. You're saying, hey, Facebook, I'm not really interested in this content here. I may have liked this page, a couple of years ago, but I'm obviously don't care about it because I just scroll right past it every time I see it. And so what's Facebook going to do? They're not going to show that content to you, and they're going to show the content that you've been clicking. So this is all to come back to the whole idea of chumming the waters, right? You want to put content out there into the Facebook ecosystem, into the news feed that garners a lot of clicks. You want your fans sending signals to Facebook saying, hey, I want to see more of this page's content. When they post a blog post to their own website, for example, I want to see it. That's what you want your fans telling Facebook via their clicks. That's why we chum the waters. And that's what we're going to spend. We're going to spend a lot of our time today, most of the time today, figuring out how to find this kind of engaging content, the kind of content that if you put it out there, you're going to get a lot of clicks. You're going to get your fans signaling to Facebook that they want to see more of your content. So chumming the waters, you got to do it. You get out there on the high seas of social media. You throw out that chum. You attract your fans. You get them biting. You get them in a feeding frenzy. And then what do? Well, you drop in the baited hooks, and the baited hooks are those posts that actually take people into your boat, right? That's what the hook does. If someone clicks on your blog post that you posted on Facebook, then where are they going to go? They're going to go back to your blog. And if you're a smart content marketer, if you're doing business well, if you're data-driven on the website side, then you're doing everything you can when those people do come to your blog posts to get them into your sales funnel, right? Get them added to your email email list. Get them, maybe taking a first free sample of an ebook or a free product that you're offering. You're getting them, into the sales funnel, so eventually you can, turn them into customers and take their cash, right? That's what we do in business, and of course offer value. So there it is, right? We got to have both of these. We got to have the chum to chum the waters, and we got to have the baited hooks. Now I just spent a little time before talking about, hey, we got the baited hooks, right? We got 30 blog posts. They're evergreen. We're posting one of those every day. We got our hooks out there floating in the water. Now all we have to do is go find some chum so we can get our fans clicking. So, and then as I explained before, the more clicks you get, the more customers you get, as long as you have a boat. You got to have a boat. What's your boat? Your website. So there you go. Now you understand. I'm sure you probably understood it before, but it's always good to review what the hell we're doing when we're going out and finding engaging content. What is our goal? Well, our goal is to chum the waters and eventually get people back into our boat. All right, so back to the issue at hand here. We got to go find some chum. What are our criteria for a good chum? Well, remember, we're a health and wellness and nutrition page, HWN, and you know, we're probably going to want a lot of our content to be about that domain, about that niche. We are at the end, later in the webinar, we're going to talk about, you know, actually some content doesn't have to do anything with your niche. It doesn't have to. It's not required to have to do something with your niche. It can be, you know, general and unrelated. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. But for this first part of the webinar, we're gonna really dive into how we find content that is truly about our niche, so that we can, again, provide value to our fans, right? Valuable stuff that about nutrition, health, and wellness. We can entertain our fans, right? We want to make them smile. We want to make them laugh. We want to make them feel good. We want to get engagement from them. We want to get those clicks. We want to increase their affinity with our social media accounts, our Facebook pages, our Twitter accounts, and, you know, we eventually increase the reach of our posts, both our chum and our baited hooks. So there you go. Hope that reviews it well. Now, the next step is finding sources. Okay, how do we find sources? Well, we're going to start with Facebook. Now, I'm going to close a few of these here. We're going to start with Facebook, and you know, we're going to talk basically about Facebook and Instagram today. Oh, look at that. There's our awesome webinar right there. Obviously, Facebook knows what I'm interested in, right? I'm interested in watching myself on a social media webinar. Now, let's start with some Facebook sources. Now, many of you probably don't know this little secret. This is one of my very favorite secrets on how to find pages that are in a particular niche, so that I can, you know, look at the content those pages are sharing and be data-driven in the content I post. Remember, you know, we started off this webinar talking about the last webinar, where it's all about being data-driven, right? Finding content, seeing the data associated with that content, seeing how much engagement it got when it was posted in the past, so that we can use that data and that context to make decisions, to make informed, data-driven decisions about what content we're going to post. Well, that's why we want to go find some awesome Facebook pages about health, wellness, and nutrition, so we can see their content and look at the data around it and see what's working for them, so we can replicate the good stuff. So let's go in here, and this really just starts with Facebook search. What we're going to do is just do something real simple. Type in health, all right? And let's look at the results we got down here. We got a few, Health Digest, health.com, Healthy Eats. This one looks pretty good, healthyeats.com. Let's check it out. We go to their page, and we can easily scroll down and see some of their content there. But this is a little secret that, you know, maybe it's not such a secret, but it's a pretty awesome feature. Watch what happens when I have not liked this page. Now watch what happens when I like it. Oh, look what Facebook just did. More pages you may like. And this right here is the key. This is going to start you down the rabbit hole of finding a bunch of awesome pages in the same niche. I just went to a page that I hadn't liked, and actually I don't really want to like this page because personally I don't care about it so much. I do care about, you know, healthy eating, of course, but I probably don't want to see this page's content in my news feed. So the cool thing is I can just unlike it right away, right? I get the same benefit, which is this right here. I get about 30 pages here that Facebook, via all their amazing data, has determined are some of the best pages related that are similar to this page, healthyeats.com. Well, that's a nice little treasure trove right there. And the way that we kind of use that treasure trove is we right-click, open in a new tab. Right-click. Well, let's skip the vegetarian one. Health Digest, open in a new tab. Health.com, open in a new tab. And that's the key, because if you click on these without opening in a new tab, what's going to happen? Well, it's going to refresh, you know, it's going to get the page in this tab, and I'm going to lose access to all these, you know, awesome recommendations from Facebook. So I want to right click and I want to open them in a new tab. And let's do a few more of them here. Eatingwell.com or Eating Well, Everyday Health. Okay, so you can see up here, I hope you can see my tabs, that I have, you know, new tabs open, each one of them with a new Facebook page that has been recommended by Facebook, right? Well, guess what you do next? Well, you pretty much rinse and repeat. I go here, daily health tips. I can go review. It looks like these guys share some pretty awesome visual content. Lots of images, it looks like. Cool, cool. Guess what I can do now? Again, like, boom, there's more. Now, of course, some of these are going to be repeats of the last one, but you'll find that as you, get further and a couple steps away from the original one you first liked, then the recommendations are going to change, and you're just going to get more and more pages. Now, I'm telling you guys, I use this all the time, right? I'm constantly looking for new content in new niches to help out our customers, for example. You may have noticed if you're a customer of ours that sometimes you'll get personalized videos from Scott Ayers and some of our other support people. They're actually in the background. They're going out and they're finding cool content. They're creating folders, which we're going to talk about in a second for you guys. And this is one way we do it. This is my favorite way personally. So I got all these. I did this on the next page. Let's see if I can find another one here. Food. That looks good. And the cool thing is when you hover over these, what do you see? You see their like count, so you can kind of get some data right there, right? You get this page, food. It's a TV channel from India. Has 1.4 million fans. Maybe because I'm an American-based company, I'm not interested in pages in other countries, so I could skip this one, for example. Women's Day magazine, 1.5 million. Maybe that might be more. Maybe that might be less about wellness and nutrition. I don't know. I'm gonna guess that, so I'm gonna skip that one. Point is that you got some data here. You don't have to just guess all the time. Speaking Tree, I don't know. That one's arts and humanities. Maybe not interesting. Here's some recipes. Now look, this page must have something to do with India because we're getting recipes in Hindi, Grazie India. So I think we'd find that possibly down here. In any case, we do have access to a bunch of awesome pages. And why is that important? Because remember, we can go down and we can check out their content. Now, let's say that I do this, and I recommend opening 20, 30, 40 tabs, right? And just lose yourself in the rabbit hole. Just dive right down it. Remember to unlike this. And find as many pages as you can. Get them all open in those tabs, and then you have a choice, basically. At that point, you can kind of go the manual route, and you can save those as bookmarks, because remember, the point is not just to come here and look at them once, right? We're finding these pages because these pages are continuous sources of content. They're continuous sources of tests. Remember, we look at social media posts, social media content as tests with data. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for successful tests. We're looking for tests out there that did really well. We're looking for content out there that did really well. And we don't find that content by just coming to a page once, right? That's not the point. We're not opening all these tabs so we can just look at these once. We're finding all these pages because these are sources of continuous content, right? Next week, they're going to have shared a bunch of stuff in the previous 7 days, and we're going to have access to all of that content by looking at their page. So, the manual way to do this would be to just bookmark these pages. You could bookmark them into, I don't know if you guys can see my bookmarks here in Chrome, but you could create a folder and then bookmark all those pages into something like, a folder named Health, Wellness, and Nutrition. You could go there, and every day, every time you're looking for great content, you go and you could look at all those pages. All right. Now, there's other ways to do that. That's just one way. It's a pretty kind of an obvious way. The other way that we do it at Post Planner is we've created our own folder system. All right, and I'm gonna kind of show you how to do this as we go along here in the webinar. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna create a folder. So I've come to Find, which is kind of the home page of our website, like our app. All right, and that's where you find the great content. And I'm going to click Add New Folder, and I'm going to type in Health, Wellness, and Nutrition. All right, and that's going to be the name of my folder. Okay. Now what I do is I come back here, and I'm going to take that first one, Healthy Eats, And all I need to do is grab that URL, and I'm going to close this and this. And I'm going to head back into here to Post Planner, and I can either add the URL, or I can and click it this way, and that'll call up healthyeats.com's content, or I can just, if the page is already in our database, and which it is, which is right here, I can just type in the name. All right, but you're totally, you're guaranteed some results if you put in the URL. So look, I put that in there. What do I see instantly? Well, I see from the last month. Usually this is on week. I changed it earlier, but if we could go week, here's the images from the last week, and I see the images that have performed the best, and the articles as well. So one thing I'm going to want to do here, I have to need to refresh this. Let me go ahead and do that. And Healthy Eats again. We'll just leave it on month, and I'm going to click Save. Now, once I click Save, it's going to go over here to my content section right here. Right in Find, I have about 4 sections here. And my content is where I have my own custom stuff. That's where I created my folder here, and that's where I've saved Healthy Eats. And I'm going to take Healthy Eats, I'm going to drop it into that Health and Wellness and Nutrition folder, and boom, I'm off to the races, right? Now I can come in here and I can click this anytime instead of having to go to healthyeats.com their Facebook page and scroll and kind of like remember stats. So I could go here and I could say, okay, look, this one is an image, has a link with it, it got 50 likes. This one has 350 likes, so this one seems like it did better. This one has 674 likes and 170 shares. This one is even better. Look at this. Looks like a lasagna recipe. This is a lot of information to hold in my mind at the same time. No doubt, I can do this. I can go in here and find the best stuff. But the cool thing about Post Planner is that you can it does it for you. I can go in here and I can see the top performing images from the last month and the top performing articles. Now let's take a few more of these. Here's daily health tips. We're going to try to plug that one in as well. So let's just plug in the name. Is that correct? I'll try the URL. There we go. And there again is the top content from this particular page for the last month. So I'm going to go ahead and save that as well. There it is. Save the top of my pages, and I'm going to drop it into my folder again. All right. So I did this one. I did this one. Let's try one more. Health Digest. Let's put that one in here. And another way, which I'm going to show you in a second, is I could just type health, right? I would see a lot of options here from Facebook, from Instagram, from Twitter, and even just the keyword health, which we're going to check out in a second. But instead, I'm going to put in the URL again, Health Digest, and I'm going to go ahead and save that one as well. Let's put on the week filter. Let's check out articles. Okay, so there we are. We also have articles. We don't just have photos. Remember, we have articles. Remember, we're out there with this with this third-party content. What's our goal? We want clicks. We want people to. And how do we get clicks? Well, we get clicks by providing value and by entertaining people. Photos tend to entertain a lot, although they can also provide value. Right? This one showing some nutrition facts, some foods to eat. Articles, something people can read, right? Clear clogged arteries with this simple drink, right? Seems like a lot of value, We value our arteries, we human beings. So this one might help us out. In any case, there it is right there in front of us. And as soon as we save it in here to our health, wellness, and nutrition folder, now we've got access to all those in the click of, in the click of a button here. I can go back to Daily Health, check out their photos, see what kind of articles they shared, if they shared any. Looks like they haven't shared any articles. They mainly share in photos, so there's the photos. And again, we're off to the races. So that's one way. Remember, go to a Facebook page, click like on it. Facebook's going to show me a bunch of suggestions, and then right-click, open in a new tab. And there you go. And you can just continuously go down this, right? I click like on this. Oh, man, more. And you'll notice that these are getting further and further away from my original search, but, you know, I could find some interesting stuff here. This is a great way to find new Facebook pages to like. So I'll unlike that, close that, unlike that, and there you go. Now, that's one way, all right? That's how we find Facebook pages via just the normal liking inside of Facebook. Another way to do it is Facebook lists. Now, I know Facebook lists are not very popular, actually. Not a lot of people use them, but they are pretty valuable when it comes to what we're doing here, which is trying to find Facebook pages in a particular niche so we can check out their content and be data-driven with our own content, right? What you want to do is you want to come in here and see if I can remember this. You click, what you need to do is go to interests. I forgot where that is on the home page, but I'm going to plug in a link right here in chat. There it is. And that should work for all of you. Facebook.com/bookmarks/interests. And what that's going to do, take you to your own interests, right? That you've, that you've already expressed interest in. And what you can do is, add interest, more of them there. But this, for example, is a social media list, and I can go in here and I can find pages from this list in this particular domain, right? So this is, again, is another way to find. And then another way to, if you want to go beyond what you've already liked. So I've already been following all these lists here. Some of you may have not followed any lists, so maybe you'll come here and you won't see anything. What you can do is you can click this Add Interests, and then what we're going to do, remember we're running the health page, so we're going to go in here and I thought this would do this. I did this last night. We need to refresh. There we go. Okay. So type in health, and boom, look, I got a bunch of lists. So let's do health and news. I'm going to click on that one, and instantly I got a bunch of I got a lot of posts. A feed of posts from pages that are in this health news list. This Vadim guy has created, which has 87,000 followers. So again, data here, I can make a determination that this looks like a pretty interesting list. A lot of people are following it. Now I can go to each one of these, and let's say I like this one. I'm going to go to the page. There, I can copy the URL so I can add it to my folder in Post Planner, and I can do the same thing of liking it. Oh, boom, and they offer me a bunch of suggestions. So you can see that you can spend all day doing this, but list is another way to find pages in a particular domain. We're looking for health. I copied that. I'm going to go over here to Post Planner, throw it in, and add that to. It doesn't look like these guys post photos. They must post articles since they're Fox News. Let's see if there's any other ones that we would want. Maybe that's enough. Interesting about Zuckerberg vaccinating his daughter, which sparked off a bunch of arguments about vaccination. Definitely in our domain, could be viral. Looks like some pretty good stuff. I'm going to save Fox News Health over here. I'm going to drop it into my health, wellness, and nutrition folder that I've created. Cool. There's another way to find Facebook pages that you otherwise don't know about in a particular domain. Remember, we started with just liking pages and getting suggestions from Facebook. Number 2 is searching Facebook lists to find pages. Okay. Now, by the way, Scott Ayers, who works for us, and many of you know, wrote a really cool blog post on Facebook lists. It's right here. 100 Facebook lists to follow and bypass EdgeRank, which means you get to see the content from that particular domain from the list. So check out that blog post. It's a good one. I can show you what it looks like right here. It's the mother lode of Facebook lists, and there's all kinds of stuff in here: social media, tech lists, etc. So check that out. Okay, the third way. Well, third way is the search inside Post Planner. We kind of already did that, but you know, for example, I can type in health, and you know, let's try this top one: healthy food and home. Looks like they share some articles. Do they share photos? No photos, only articles. So let's pretend like that's a good one, and we'll add it over here. Now, if later I decide no, that's kind of lame, I'm not seeing any good content from them. Look, I'm only seeing 2 links from the last month, and doesn't look very interesting. I can just go ahead and remove that from my folder. Now, when I create this folder, I own this folder. No one else can change anything that I do to it. I'm going to show you I can actually share it with other people so they can add it to their find section. I'll show you how to do that in a while. It's actually pretty easy. All you do is copy the URL and share it, just like you would in a Google search or a Facebook page, and that person will be able to add it, but they won't be able to change it. Only you will be able to change it, because it's like your own playlist. It's your own folder that you created. You can add, you can take away, you can rearrange as much as you want. So that's the other way, is to actually just search in Post Planner. You can add keywords like nutrition, and so for example here in Facebook, I'm going to click See All, and you'll see that there's just a ton of Facebook pages about nutrition, and I can test those out, check them out, see what kind of content they're sharing, and decide whether I want to save them in my own health, wellness, and nutrition folder. All right, cool. I got to hurry up here because I'm running out of time. The other way, which is pretty obvious, is Google, baby. Google actually works, believe it or not. I can go over here into Google and I can type best Facebook pages for health. I typed that earlier, so that's why it's already in there. And you'll see a lot of blog posts, for 10 favorite health, fitness, wellness Facebook pages. Let's go here. Daily health tips. That I think we might have already added that one. Everyday health. This one looks interesting. Take us over there. We can grab the URL, and again we can click like, and oh, boom, more suggestions. All right, I found that one. I'm going to go in here to Post Planner, throw it in there, save it, and save it, and then add it to my folder. Okay, cool. So it's just the obvious thing. Google. You can try various searches on Google. Other one is popular Facebook pages for nutrition, for example. Oops, click the shopping. There you go. You're going to find a lot of blog posts that just run down their top 10, top 5, top 50 favorite Facebook pages for any niche. So use Google to your advantage. Use other people's curation work. Remember, stand on their shoulders. We're standing on the shoulders of giants here, right? Go out. They already did work. Use it to your own benefit. So that's it. Those are the 4 ways just to get started for finding awesome Facebook pages. Why do we want to find awesome Facebook pages? Because we don't want to guess. We don't want to come up with content from scratch. For our chum that we're putting out there, we want to go out to other Facebook pages, see what's working on those pages, and replicate it. Right? See what articles they're sharing that people are loving, and share those same articles. Repeat tests that have been successful. Be data-driven. Drive up engagement. Get people clicking and biting on our chum, so that when we do share our blog posts, remember we're sharing one of those a day back to our HWN blog, we're going to get a lot more clicks on those blog posts, because our fans have already signaled to Facebook that they love our content and they want to see our content whenever we post it. So that's how we find Facebook. sources. And again, those Facebook pages are great. Remember, we're not going out just finding a single piece of content here. We're finding the gifts that keep on giving, baby, right? These pages, they're going to be posting stuff every day. So we're going to be able to come here once a week, once every couple days. We're going to have brand new, fresh content, brand new, fresh tests, right? With data that we can, get. We can make decisions about these tests and decide which ones have been the best. And the best way to do that is here in Post Planner. I can look at these star ratings. I can see which ones are the top performers, and then I can quickly, right, click share and send them off to my particular page. Okay, cool. Now let's move on to the next one, just for the next 10 minutes before we go to questions. What about other networks? The world is not just Facebook, right? Well, I'm just going to touch on a few more. Instagram sources, all right? Instagram sources is another great one. We already realized that we can go in here and we can find we can look and find Instagram sources right here in Post Planner, right? So I could go in here and I could check out healthy quotes, for example, the hashtag. That could be good. Yeah, this looks pretty solid actually. This is hashtag healthy quotes. A lot of the images that have been shared with this hashtag. I'm going to go ahead and save that, and I'm going to add that one to my health, wellness, and nutrition folder. What else? How about just health and, I'm going to go ahead and put a in front of that. Well, scroll up a little bit so you guys can see. Wellness, health and wellness. There you go. See if we got some results there. Oh, there's some more stuff. Could be good as well. I'll save that and add that to my health and wellness. I got just another gift that keeps on giving right there, right? And don't forget about Instagram handles as well. Now, you can use the same technique for Google here. It's a great way to find it. Fortunately, Instagram doesn't have those recommendations that I was showing you in Facebook, so you do have to let's see if we can find something here. Best 10 Instagram accounts to follow for healthy eating and living. This looks interesting. Someone put this together. Let's see if we find any. It's one of these damn things you have to click every one of them. Okay, Yonder Farmer. Do they give us a link? Okay, cool. Let's take that. There it is. 35,000 followers. Looks like some interesting stuff. Possibly. I'm gonna go in here to Post Planner. I'm gonna put at Yonder Way Farmer and grab it. See how the content is. Something seems to be broken here. These guys clearly have shared more, haven't they? Let's see. Maybe this is not in that very active account. Let's see when this last one was shared. 1 week ago. Seems like we got a bug here in Post Planner. We should see more content. Maybe the week will work better. Let me try to refresh. Let me copy that. Refresh the app. We'll try that one more time. What was it called? Yonder Farmer? Yonder Way Farmer. There it is. There we go. All right, that's much better. Okay, so see some interesting stuff here. Maybe we want to save that. Remember, I found this. The point here is that I found it via a blog post that I searched for in Google. I can add it to my my folder here. If I ever decide this is crappy content, not really interesting, I don't really want to see it, I can just click here and remove it, which I'll do, and boom, it's gone from my folder. I can always keep my folder totally up to date, right? So there's Instagram. You notice that you can get hashtags, which give us images across many different accounts, right? Or you can add a handle. One handle that I noticed earlier was Health Magazine. We'll try that one. Health. Hashtags can be a little bit more, variety. Obviously, because some people use hashtags on photos that don't have anything to do with the hashtag just to get reach. So sometimes you'll get some kind of noise in hashtag feeds in Post Planner. But handle feeds like this one tend to be pretty, tight when it comes to the type of content they're sharing. Health Magazine obviously is going to be sharing some really cool stuff. Now look, there's some jewels here, right? This thing has done very well. It's got 5 stars in Post Planner. This is something where, Health Magazine, all they've done is taken black text and put it onto a white background and shared it on Instagram. We could easily take that exact same text, put it on a different background, just like we did with our image with the CEO that I started the webinar off with. We took that same quote, we put it on the background with the surfer, we put it on a background with green. We could do the same thing with any of these, right? These are just text. They've already been tested. We have data telling us that they work. I guarantee that if you take this one right here and you do have a health and wellness page and you put that text onto a cool background and share it, that post is gonna kick ass. It's gonna get a lot of engagement. Anyway, let's go ahead and save that and put it into our folder. And you can see here, we're building this thing out. There's no limit here. I could have 50 pages and Instagram accounts and Instagram hashtags in here, and there's even more, right? So we're going to move on real quick and talk about a couple more. What about Twitter? Well, Twitter, we can do the same thing. We can go in here and type health. We can click see all. I think I tried this one before. I'm not sure if it came up with content. Oh, actually, nutrition is a good one. This might be interesting. Let's just save it just for an example. We got the health Twitter account. Nutrition, we can do the same thing. Nutrition Minute. I think this one had some pretty good content when I checked it before. Wait for that to load. So you're not just locked into Facebook pages and Instagram accounts and hashtags. You can also add Twitter accounts. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and drop that Twitter account into my folder as well. Looks like this one's having problems loading. So one other thing we can do in addition to Twitter, and this is the last thing I'm going to talk about before we move on to general content, is looks like we have an error in the app. So one final thing that I wanted to talk about is actually keyword searches, right? So we can go in and we can add a keyword. Let's see if it's back here. We can go ahead and add in a keyword like health. Oops, there's Rebecca. Give me a message. Health and wellness. And what I can do is, you can see I got Facebook results, I got Instagram results, and down here I got this fire icon, which means basically trending. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to get articles from across the web, not from any one social media feed, but across the web that are about health and wellness. So I can save that to my content as well, and then throw that into my health and wellness folder too. So now you can see that here in the folder I've got Instagram accounts, I've got, if I put that one in, I've got a Twitter account, I've got a trending feed, I've got Facebook pages, Instagram hashtags. I got a whole wealth of and variety of content sources, and then I can just go ahead and click on that folder itself, and then it just aggregates all of them and shows me all the best stuff. So really cool way to find content right there. Now, this has all been about health and wellness, right? Health, wellness, and nutrition. We've concentrated on that niche, and like we talked about before, you're going to want to share most of the content, the third-party chum content that you share. You are going to want to have it be directed, right? You're going to want it to be specifically about your niche. But that, and I can't stress this last point enough, that doesn't mean you can't share content that's completely unrelated, right? And that's why we have these popular sections up here inside the app, because what we've noticed over the many years of doing this is that quotes, just texts on images, texts that are inspiring, funny, interesting, entertaining, they just do really well no matter what niche they're posted in. So if I have my health, wellness, and nutrition page, there's no reason I can't share this quote right here from Brain Pickings, which shows some really great content. It's topical in the sense that with David Bowie's recent death, a lot of social media content is coming through about David Bowie. So we could very easily take this content here, this question and answer. Again, it's just text. Throw it onto our own background, and share it out there with David Bowie. Or we could just use this right here and share Brain Pickings photo. Brain Pickings is going to get the benefit of their brand being exposed to our base, and their original post is going to get more reach because we shared it, right? So great stuff there. I can't stress this enough. Don't lock yourself into your own niche. Yeah, most of the content you share, in the case of our health, wellness, and nutrition, we're going to want, let's say 80% of our content is going to be from my folder here, my health, wellness, and nutrition folder. But the other 20%, I can really experiment. I can go in here to the popular sections. I can look at quotes. I can look at engaging images, articles, and a lot of 5-star articles here. Some of them aren't going to be as maybe applicable to your page. Let's see if we can find one that I would share. 12 underappreciated bodily fluids. That's right up our alley, right? We're in health, we're in wellness, we're talking about foods, we're talking about health and the human body. This might be very applicable. It's from Mental Floss. It's already proven itself to be a 3.5-star content. We can share that on our page, no problem. And there's all kinds of other stuff interesting. A lot of it's going to be about David Bowie because that's what's really going off right now, you can see. But in any case, just to stress to you guys, don't lock yourself only into your niche. So with that, man, I've kind of talked you guys' ears off. So I apologize for that, but hopefully you've got some value out of this. Remember, just to review, the best way to find Facebook sources is to go in there and just like pages, right? And then I'll get these recommendations from Facebook. The second way is to go in and get interests. Again, I shared that link in there. I couldn't figure out how to find it on the home page. Maybe one of the guys can, or Rebecca or somebody can figure that out. I'm not sure where that is. You know where that is, Rebecca? Interests. Booyah, there it is.
There you go.
Right there in your sidebar, click on interests. Remember, if you want to search a new one, click Add Interest Search. The other ways, we're just using Google and using Post Planner. Same thing for Instagram, same thing for Twitter, and you can also use keyword phrases. So with that, I'm just going to go ahead and just shut up and let you guys ask me some questions.
Well, yeah, they have a lot of questions. You gave them a lot to think about. So let's just jump right into them. First of all, you had talked about when you're searching for pages within your niche, and you were sharing whether or not you might actually like that page. Lori was wondering if those are pages that you really want to keep up with. Would you like them or would you not? Because it might become a little overwhelming depending on how many you're going out there and liking. So in your opinion, do you typically like the page and stay liking the page? No.
No,
okay.
Because I guess the question is, should you like the page with the goal of seeing its content in your news feed when you're using Facebook as a regular person? I would say no, because it's going to have to compete. That page's content is going to have to compete with all your friends and family and all the content that is already competing for your attention, and it's just it's just not a less scientific way of doing it, and less efficient. So I would definitely say go to the page itself, put it in Post Planner, and just look exclusively at that page's content. And you know, personally, I don't know how all you guys like to do it, but I try to clean up my news feed, right? So when I go to Facebook, I want the experience of what I want. I want to see particular friends. I want to see particular topics, articles from stuff that I'm really interested in, not so much mix it with business. That's what Facebook lists are great that way too, because you can just go to the list and then you don't have to kind of pollute your own personal news feed with, let's say, content that's more about a client. Right? If you have a client in health and wellness and you don't really care about health and wellness yourself, don't pollute your own news feed to try to gain access to that content, which you can easily do in better ways via lists.
Yeah, well, and I think that's a great point, because you talked so much about folders, and it's really about managing all of that content that's coming at you and keeping it in a place that makes it simple to go in and see exactly what you want to see instead of all of it at once.
Or leaving it to Facebook's kind of algorithms to decide what you see. Be more deliberate than that.
Yeah, exactly. You talked a little bit about the 80-20 rule and just the difference in what you're sharing. One of the questions was what percentage of other people's content versus your own content would you recommend?
Well, I would start with 50-50 probably. That's a good place to start. You know, half of the content you're sharing is branded and links going back to your website, and half of it is, you know, more general chum style content. You can start from there, and then you can kind of you know, test in different directions. Maybe you're going to see that if you post, you know, 60% chum and 40% baited hooks, then you're actually getting more traffic. Maybe you're going to see that the opposite. You know, if you post 70% baited hooks, you know, links back to your own website, and only 30% chum, you're going to get more traffic. In the end, that's really what this is all about. You're going to want to look at your traffic from social, your clicks, or your insights on Facebook, your Facebook page, and see, you know, how many clicks you're getting, and kind of watch it and see which direction it's moving in as you make these changes.
There's a couple other questions around that too. So the other people's content that you're sharing, if these people are your competitors, are you not just sending people to their page instead? They said, have I missed something? And I think they're just really asking, you know, what is the purpose behind, more than having all of this additional content, what is the purpose behind sharing other people's content? Because isn't it just competitive content to your own?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. That's a pretty deep question about, you know, business and social media itself. There's people on probably on both sides of that, the answer to that question. Some people would say, you know, you shouldn't share direct competitors' stuff, but we see examples all the time of people who, you know, for example, our competitors write about us often. They share our blog posts. We share their blog posts on our social media channels when they're super valuable. I think that in the end, it's all about your goals and your incentives. I'm going to share a blog post from perhaps a competitor if, remember what my goal is. My goal is to get more clicks, to get more engagement, so that when I do share my own blog posts, I'm going to get more engagement and clicks on those. So if one of my competitors has really created a blog post that's pretty awesome, adds a lot of value, people can learn from, and I share that on my Facebook page, and, you know, it gets a lot of clicks, a lot of likes, a lot of shares, yeah, they're still sending the signal to Facebook that you know, I still benefit from those signals. I still benefit from those clicks on that link, even if it sends people to another website. Now then, of course, you have to ask the question, do I want to send these people to a competitor's website and possibly have them get in on their marketing funnel? You know, it's just a determination that you're going to have to make. In some markets, it's very competitive. Some markets, it's it's a fixed pie world, right? It's a zero-sum game. One person gains a customer, another one loses one. In some markets, it's a growing market, and there's room for everybody. And you'll see that businesses work together more and promote each other more in those markets. But there's no fixed answer to that question. I would recommend just kind of going off the principle of, look, if I can share content that gets me more clicks because I'm sharing more value with my fans, and in the end I'm gonna get my page is gonna grow because of that, then go for it.
Yeah, yeah. I think we have a whole webinar right around that topic in particular. There's just, like you said, there's definitely two different sides of that coin, and it does have everything to do with your business strategy. But I know we come from it, that mentality of giver's gain, and it's creating that reciprocity too. Not only are we sharing more valuable content with our community, but we're also showing those competitors within our space that, hey guys, you're sharing some really valuable content around the same topic we're talking about, and we're not afraid to share your content, and hopefully you're not afraid to share ours. And it creates a very different atmosphere than that situation where it's all about me.
Yep, totally agree. It shows confidence, and hopefully your products and your services are good enough that they kind of speak for themselves.
Yep.
And that's one.
And there's enough business to go around. I think we see that in just about any industry, any niche. So another question around that Amanda asked is, how do you credit photographers for the images you share to avoid copyright infringement? And I don't know if she's just speaking specifically to photographers, but I thought that was a great question we could talk about.
Yeah, in the end, you're going to have to, I'm not a lawyer, so you're going to have to talk to your own legal counsel on that, but I would recommend against taking someone else's photo and trying to pass it off as your own, especially more artistic, actual, people who make their living off photography. That's just not a cool thing to do and not a legal thing to do. So I recommend against it. But there's no problem there's no problem in that same case of taking their post and just sharing the post, right? You're literally it's like a retweet. You're literally sharing the original Facebook post. You're getting them more reach on that post. You're probably going to help their engagement on that post. So there's literally nothing wrong with doing that, and that's kind of the whole point of social media. When it comes to using other people's content and standing on the shoulder of giants, as we talked about, with other people's content, you just be smart about it. Like I talked about before, those with that what was the Healthy Tips Instagram, where you had these real outperformers, and all they were are black text on a white background. Nobody owns that text, right? Nobody owns those words. You can take those same words, you can put them on your own image, you can put your own brand on it. No one owns a joke. No one owns a quote from Einstein. That's public property, and you're free to use it as much as you want and in any form you want. So, again, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not a copyright expert. I always recommend that in the end, you got to talk to your legal counsel on this kind of stuff. But I recommend against just taking other people's imagery and sharing it as your own. But there are cases where you can find content that's working and replicate it and get huge results from it.
Yeah. Well, and I think, like you said, it's a best practice to give attribution, and you can do that in a couple of different ways, where either you're sharing directly from that page, which you can do through the app. You could certainly put it right there within your status update as to who that came from. Somebody had asked if you could put it into the actual image, which certainly you could drop that down in there if you wanted to.
Well, often the smart ones are putting their logo in the image, right? So when you do share an image, like 9gag you saw, they removed our logo, which kind of sucks. But if they had shared our original image and put that Oprah picture at the top, then we would have had been exposed to that 30 million people. They didn't do that. They removed our logo and put 9gag on there. Personally, I don't really care that they did that. That's the way it goes in social media. But most people are, if they share your image and you do have your logo down there, then you're gonna gain that brand recognition when anyone else shares it. So you should be actually thankful that anyone shares your imagery that you create if you have your branding on there.
Yeah, definitely. Always have that logo, that watermark on there, so that when people are sharing it, they're still seeing who you are. And she also asked about Instagram, and I would imagine, Amanda, you're talking about how to give attribution on Instagram, and that's still kind of a touchy subject. And what Josh was talking about is sourcing and finding content on Instagram. You can't actually share directly over to Instagram through the app, and there are a ton of, depending on if you're on Apple or depending on just the phone you're on, there's all kinds of apps.
Also remember one thing is that when you share an Instagram photo via Post Planner, you're actually sharing it as a link, right? So if any of your fans click on that image, they're going to go to the
directly to
the Instagram account where you found it. So you're literally sharing their Instagram account and giving them the opportunity to get more followers. It's literally the same thing as me sharing your blog post, right? I share your blog post. It shows a featured image and your headline there in the Facebook post. Someone clicks on it, they go to your blog, and they do whatever they do on your blog. They consume the content there. Same thing with Instagram via Post Planner. You find an Instagram photo in Post Planner, you share it, and someone clicks on it, they go instantly to the Facebook or the Instagram account. They can like it, they can follow it, they can engage with the photo there. It's literally a link to the original photo.
Yeah, awesome. That's what she was asking about that, and then asking about, she was thinking that we were talking about sharing directly to Instagram, and so what I was saying was that there are all kinds of regram type of apps that will give that same exact attribution as that link back over to the original post on Instagram. But yeah, great point that link is automatically there. Yeah. Let's see. Are these features available in the free version of Post Planner?
I don't believe you have access to all the content stuff that we talked about today. You can post to, I think, a couple of profiles. You can use our publishing features, but I'm not sure you have full access to the content. But our cheapest version is only $7 a month, guys. That's a hamburger and some fries. If you go for the annual, it's $84 for the whole entire year. I promise you're gonna pay for that $84 in the first 3 days if you're using our app properly.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a wise investment as a business.
Yep. When you see just how much you can do, everything that you've been sharing with us. And then Peter asked, and this is our last question that I see here, does the share bar work on Instagram shares?
I don't believe so. We haven't talked much about the share bar. Share bar is our feature where you add it to any link that you share, and so some people are using a similar app. It's called Sniply. There's a few other. Startify is another one. There's several apps out there that basically let you share somebody's link, share a third-party blog post, and then when someone goes to that blog post, you have kind of a, in our case, it's a share bar at the top of the post that you can put your own branding on, your own call to action, your own email opt-in. But the thing is that some sites basically block all those apps. Instagram is definitely one of them. Facebook, all the really big sites, they allow you to, or sorry, they bar that from happening on their site, so no one can and technically speaking, it's iframing another web page into your own kind of frame. Facebook does not allow you to do that. Instagram doesn't allow you to do that. So you're just going to kind of have to test, but you can pretty much assume that all the big sites like Medium, Facebook, Yahoo, Google, any of these, they're not going to allow that to happen.
All right, so that wraps up our second training. I know we ran a little bit long today, but we had a ton of really good questions. We are going to be sending out everybody that was here, everybody that signed up. We're going to send out a replay of this. You'll get a follow-up blog post from Josh where he's just going to outline every single thing he talked about here, so I'll give you some more detail around that. And you'll be getting that first thing tomorrow morning, and then you'll also have the link to the sign up for next week's class. And next week's class, we're going to be talking about how to get started with planning all of your content. So it's an overview of plan. Do you want to give us just a little bit of insight into what that's going to look like?
Well, it kind of goes along the same theme. Remember we talked about the chum and the baited hooks. It's, when you have these different distinct kind of categories of posts, you want to make sure you get a variety, right? You don't want to just post, say you have chum and you have baited hooks. You don't want to post all chum for 5 days and then a couple baited hooks, right? And then chum again. You want to mix it up so you have chum, then baited hooks, chum, third-party content, your content, third-party content, your content, image, link, status, right? You want to have a variety so that your fans are seeing a lot of variety from you. We're going to talk about how to do that, how to enforce that, kind of automate that variety, as well as make sure your posts are going out 24/7 around the clock, looking at your fan base when they're online, etc. All that kind of fun stuff.
Ooh, awesome stuff. Just to let everybody know too, there was another quick question about the replay from last week's training. Josh had dropped that link here into the chat, but we'll also add that to our email that you'll get tomorrow, so you can check out both the first one and the second one, and then make sure that you are here for the third one. And then to everybody that was here, we got a lot of great questions from people that aren't currently users of Post Planner, and we have a special offer to you just for being here today, so make sure you check that out over here to the right, I believe, of me. And we would love to see you within the Post Planner family, and as soon as you sign up, you're going to get some just more valuable feedback from Scott Ayers, who is, I think you had already talked about how much he spends time helping everybody out within support. So you're going to get customized video from Scott with some getting started tips, so just lots more as far as step 1, step 2, step 3, how to get started and really off and running with the app. So we hope to see you there, and then also hope to see you right back here next week. So thanks again, Josh, for spending all your time and taking some extra time here to answer all of those questions today.
My pleasure. Thanks for hosting, Rebecca.
Yeah, awesome stuff. I just get to sit back and soak it all in. You do all the hard work. So thanks again.
All right,
guys.
Appreciate
Take care. We will see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.